characters, why? And I thought for sure they were going to have all the kids move into the castle at the end. It would have been a more fortified place.
Yo, we had a tip that popped off like right now. So I want to replay it because the tip from Phantom Knight, first off, thank you very much. Second off, he brings up good points. Oops. So if you're new here, give me a minute. I'm going to get things set up. I do want to show an example. Somebody asked me if last week was identical, something I mentioned to The Last of Us, and I just wanted to show a little clip. And this week drove me nuts because they're continuing to steal even more from The Last of Us, which is, it's not just kind of ideas like, okay, Joel escorting Ellie, you know, them growing a bond. That's very general. It's not like them stealing that idea, borrowing it. It's not even stealing, but borrowing it. It's not like that's terrible. All right, it's general. But then when you get to the things where they just straight copy and pasted, like Ellie, her mother being bitten right as Ellie is born. And then this, the kid that Daryl is escorting, his mother's bitten right as the baby is born. You know, not as soon because it happens faster in The Last of Us, but they're literally taking... Now, if you're not a fan of the history of screenwriting, you don't know this. If you're a fan of my channel and, you know, my discussions, you know I bring it up a lot because I think this is one of the things that Hollywood does that's kind of slimy, but the writers, it's definitely a known, I call it a secret, but not as a secret anymore, but if something works, you just steal it straight up. And some of the biggest names in Hollywood do this all the time. And I keep bringing up a recent or more recent example of Star Wars, where Avengers Endgame did real good. Remember, I am Iron Man. And then J.J. Abrams stole the I am all the Jedi. They do it on purpose because everyone went nuts for Endgame. They're having problems with Star Wars for that movie. And they're like, oh my God, okay, the fans love this. Let's jam it in here and see if we can, you know, get some of that love. But the reason it doesn't work is because that's all you're doing. You're taking something that worked, jamming it into a new thing. It doesn't automatically mean it's going to work. Anyhow, so for the Daryl show, this episode, that there's a number of things that kind of set me off. I'm going to get into it for the mini review. I know we kind of just jumped straight into this, but I want to get the poll going so you guys can vote. Last week, I was not impressed. I was positive, looking forward to what's coming. I think it was about 80% positive. This week's going to be a little different. I understand if you guys are more positive, but I'm definitely not. Let me get a poll going. And I did this with Dead City. I was positive, or I'm sorry, I was hopeful after they set it up. And it didn't really blow my socks off or make me re-fall in love with The Walking Dead. It didn't do anything amazing. I'll never rewatch Dead City again. It's just blah. Not terrible. It's not shit. It's not trash. But I don't have that same kind of, like, I'm burned out. I don't think Daryl Dixon's show is going to be good. I'll be honest. I think it's going to be mid-tier at best, in my personal opinion, from now until it ends. We are already jumping into the second episode. And this is one of the biggest problems with, I think, the newer writing style. The old Walking Dead would really craft a story. The new Walking Dead writing is like, okay, we got 6 episodes. We got these new characters. Let's just start episode 2 and jump into a flashback of a fucking, druggy bitch that we don't even give a fuck about. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's do that. Oh, man, I thought she was a nun, but she was just a thieving druggy bitch. Oh, that's crazy, And I'm not being mean to the characters. The only thing that annoys me when Hollywood writes these characters, they're always despicable people. Like this one's a thief, and I don't give a shit. She's lost and doing drugs. Who cares? You know, a lot of people fall down that rabbit hole, but she's just a thieving asshole, you know? So Hollywood writes the characters like this. They're a thieving, degenerate, druggie. Oh, but they're sad. They got to pop pills because they're so... Look at her. She's so stressed out and sad. But we don't get any other information other than that. Oh, she's so sad. So, but here's the thing is, we get a flashback of her. I don't give a fuck about her. Who is she? Who is she? Is she even gonna last? Now we know she'll probably last a few more episodes for sure. But I don't care about her. And as far as setting Daryl off on a romantic interest, what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? We had the whole Carol shit. The fan base went nuts and annoyed the rest of us for years. Then you have Daryl fall in love with some other, random at the end of the main series. And then that whole thing kind of blows up and they really failed at that sort of relationship storyline. Now we're doing a Daryl show. The last thing on my mind is we're going to do a romantic story with Daryl. Now, given it, they're going real slow, but they kind of seem to be hinting at that. But it's just weak and uninteresting. So, let me play, before I forget, Phantom Knight, thank you very much for the dono. I'm going to replay his message because he had two really good points in it. As well as, let me just replay this because there's a few more I want to go over and then we're going to get into the fan feedback.
This is the Daryl Dixon show, but we're spending an entire episode on flashbacks for two other characters, Y. And I thought for sure they were going to have all the kids move into the castle at the end.
Yes.
It would have been a more fortified place.
That's what I wanted to mention. Not only did we get, especially for post-apocalyptic shows, I am so sick of every 3 or every 4 years we get some show or movie or whatever that does the whole children's society. Like, oh, this was a school, and we get it in video games, we get it in movies, and unfortunately, it's always obviously post-apocalyptic storytelling. And they just did this in Fear the Walking Dead. It was dumb as shit in Fear like 2 years ago. It's dumb as shit in Daryl for a number of reasons. It hasn't been 6 months. It hasn't even been a year. A year I could buy. 2 years I could buy. We're talking, what is it? It's been a decade? A decade plus? I think it's been more. I think it's been, what did I say before? Like, we're talking like, let's say around 15 years or something. I forget what is the real timeline for Walking Dead currently, but we're approaching a decade roundabout somewhere, maybe 12 years, maybe 9 years, but it's a decade. You mean to tell me these little sons of bitch bastards, they never ran into an adult in a decade? Now there was one adult there from the beginning, that stayed and helped them. But you mean to tell me in 10 years they ran into some survivor that stole all this shit and he happens to be American too? They're like, hey, it's 13 years. Oh, that works too. These little bastards are surviving. They don't meet any adults. None of them were like 18 and they're now 28 or roundabout, None of them were like, let's even say 15 and they're now 25. Are you telling me, I know they said it was preschool, but you mean to tell me that there's a whole bunch of little 5-year-olds running around or 3-year-olds running around? Yeah, that would be preschool. And now they're like 15, 16, 17, they're teenagers now. And there's not a single, all the adults are dead by this point. The handful that were still there. And they didn't come across any new survivors at all. At all. It's so unbelievably stupid. I forgot for a moment the timeline. No, I didn't forget. I believed that the writers forgot the timeline. That is dumb as shit, Anyhow, I wanted to play some of the episode. There was one more thing I wanted to not forget, but I like, here's the thing. I like how we get the Outbreak stuff, right? The flashback, but the character at this point in time, I don't give a shit about this character. So I like the idea that we flashback. Some of the stuff is cool, like on the train, hearing the background noises. Some of it felt like AMC was like, okay, here's a girl walking alone, in all these areas where people and tourists would be all over the place, but she's somehow alone. But we do get some cool stuff here and there. So some of that I do appreciate. Altogether as a whole, I'm not down for it because they copy The Last of Us. They copy Fear the Walking Dead, Mad Max, and a ton of other post-apocalyptic movies and shows and video games that do the child society. Then they copy their own show having a savior's moment, which, sure, whistling is fine. But when it's so close to the saviors and you want to breathe fresh life into The Walking Dead, there should have been something else. Anything. Take a weird clicking noises. Take something that at first you hear this clicking and it sounds like it's part of just, nature. You as the audience member, but then Daryl catches onto it and then it brings it up to you as the audience and you're like, oh wait, that's a person. That's someone making that noise. Like, have it clever. Nope, we're going to have whistling. I made a joke. My daughter was watching it with me. I made a joke and she was like, wait a minute, the saviors are in France? What? I was like, no, I'm joking. It can't be them, but still having the whistle. It's just, there's just too much of this repetitive sameness. And I don't know why they're doing it. For the life of me, I don't know why they're doing it. Yeah, the bad guy is an American, which I don't really care. Like, they're Americans bad, I don't care. It's just weird. It's a weird thing that, they're like, oh, this greedy guy. And it's like, oh, some greedy American stole all the shit for no reason. He's keeping to himself. He's talking real weird. He's saying real stuff. Like, he's acting like, imagine what, like, I don't want to get political, but imagine what lefties think people on the right are. You know what I mean? Like the meme version of like these weird, like super patriot, like American overdose. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine that. It's like this caricature of right-leaning American that is probably really only like 10% of the population in the United States, but they're the caricature of what that is. Anyhow, it's just weird. It feels out of nowhere. It feels like the writers are trying to say greedy American. Now, again, like, I don't give a shit. The point of it is how weird and odd how it stood out for the show. Not only that, as soon as he was like, hey, I'm American, I'm like, all right, you take place in France and we get people speaking French. You get this whole other culture, right? The food, the sounds, the look, the visuals, the castles, yada, yada, yada. But then you get like every person speaks English, like, hey, my English good, And then they go, and then the villain we get is some fucking asshole from America. Like you go across seas, you go overseas to find a cool little mini episodic villain, and you give us an American? I mean, how much more boring are you? You know what I'm saying? Like, tell me you're a dead fuck without telling me you're a dead fuck. Her boyfriend's like, oh, she just lays there. Yeah, I know. She wrote the episode. Actually, I don't know who wrote it. It could have been a guy. He's a dead fucky too. Anyhow, boring as hell. Stupid, boring idea. I love the concept of how he got eaten because he was all stuck there and he got chomped up. Dumb that Daryl was putting his gun there. What an idiot. And yes, the castle that is in or around a village is fucking awesome. Do they live there? Do they move there? All the supplies are there. I mean, just so much fortification. I mean, it's fortified, but then again, you have Daryl create a grappling hook like he's friggin' Batman. It doesn't matter, but do they stay at this new fortified location? Nope, they leave. Also, the characters that we spent one episode learning about, do they stay in the story? Nope, they're gone. I mean, they might show up later. I doubt it. So again, we're seeing this episodic structure of storytelling that I'm not gonna like. I don't want to meet new characters every week just for them to leave the story up dead or alive. I will say the lead here, again, we have another female lead. Let's stop pretending like this is not how you must write characters. And again, this isn't like, woke writing. This is, fuck, you guys are boring. We know every woman's going to be the strong type. We know they're always going to have the female leaders. We know all this shit, but I will admit, even though they're not allowed to have male leaders, or they're very limited to what they're allowed, male villain or male prisoner. Oh, we got to have, she did good, the actress. So I want to give props there because I felt like there was a touch of charisma to her, a touch of charm that if she was in the show longer, I don't know, man, she could have quickly, maybe it was just me. I think she could have possibly quickly grew an attachment to the audience. But we have this stupid storytelling where here's characters and by characters. You know what I'm saying? Anyhow, I would have liked to see, her stay around longer, but showcase why she's the leader more than what they did. They did little to nothing. I would argue they did next to nothing. But I think the actor had enough charm to probably lead that role into something bigger than they expected. But maybe that's me. Oh, I forgot to do the poll. I'm so sorry. Let me get the poll going. You guys can vote. We still have time to vote. Now there's more people in here. I'm going to pull up that example I showed, finish my review, and then we're going to get into fan feedback. So we're going to do the Daryl Dixon episode 2. Simply, do you like it or not? We're going to keep it simple. Do you like it or not? Yes or no? Start poll. So that way it's very simple. Did you like it or not? We got them eating Daryl slurping soup. I don't know. It's really cheap version of you being funny. I like this the watching the movie, but again, what happened when Ellie and Joel went to Tommy's? Hold on, I think I still actually have Last of Us footage saved for. I'm trying to do the flaw versus all, and it's getting better. It's getting better because I don't want to bore you with why, but it's getting closer.
I feel this spin-off dropping the ball already. It's decent enough for me to keep watching TLOU.
Yeah, I know my daughter watched this episode. Now my mother is watching. She got into The Last of Us late. It's funny because she knew I loved it early on. She didn't watch it. And what was it? Like season 9? She got into it big time. She's watching the Daryl show. The 1 was mid. 2 was like, ugh. But she's interested to keep going. I, however, if it wasn't for doing these streams, I would tap out now. And I would just binge the rest of it. Oh, man, I forgot that was playing. AMC's going to get this stream and slap it to hell. But, okay, so what I'm saying is, in The Last of Us, we see constant themes of, plagiarism, where Joel and Ellie make it to Tommy's. And what episode was that? Like episode 4? I'm trying to look for it now. And correct me if I'm wrong, but don't they... Did they get to Tommy?
Have I satisfied the necessary conditions?
Don't they? Wait, did they get to Tommy's in? Or it's 5. Though they burn through Last of Us, man. Don't they get to Tommy's and then watch a movie? Which is fine for the post-apocalypse. Oh, there was 9 episodes. For a minute there, I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, so they get to Tommy's. Oh, maybe not. I could have. Oh, yeah, they did.
friend of Tony's.
So they get to Tommy's and they watch whatever this is. And lo and behold, in the Daryl Dixon show, they get to this new community. And shabam-a-lam, they're watching,
Tony DeForest.
Whatever the fuck this is. The other one was, this one is Mork and Mindy, I think. And it's almost the same thing, too. Like, Ellie, Daryl gets like, oh, this is fun. And then he gets super serious. And then Ellie is like, oh, this is amazing and new. And then she gets super serious. And I think she goes looking for Joel. It's literally like a copy and paste. They have this scene where they lay down, which oddly, there's a scene. It doesn't, I think it's different though, because it's another thing. Did these two know each other before? Because she was like randomly out in the middle of nowhere. And then they ran into each other and it looked like they were strangers. And then all of a sudden he's all like touching her face. He has a gun. Why show the gun if you're not going to use it? Some of the storytelling in this is just strange. Showcasing the sister for this long and how she got bit. Like, we know it's the sister's kid. We know, she died and she doesn't make it. But to go a whole episode for this sister that we don't give a shit about is insane. They could have covered it in one quick snippet. Bam. Sister was pregnant, was hiding it from this other sister, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, they get eaten up. There was even more I wanted to rail against, but I'm done with it because I know there was something in the Messiah stuff I really don't care about. I don't think they're going to go overboard and have it to where he's immune. You know what The Walking Dead has a tendency to do? They have a tendency to do this like, oh, you're the Messiah. You are what's going to bring the cure because you're immune. They have a tendency to hype up shit like that for storytelling. Then they turn around and the big twist is it's all a lie. You're not immune. You're not the Messiah. You're just a regular. Like, by the time they get to where they're going, that will be the reveal. Or they've done that constantly. Especially in the newer Walking Dead, where it's like, here's something amazing. Or the spin-offs. They've done that a handful of times. Here's something amazing. Nope, it was a lie. We only used it because it was like a big twist for the audience, but now it's over. Doesn't matter. I'm trying to get to like something for you guys to look at, but those are my thoughts and opinions on the episode. I'm a big blah. Now I'm going to pull up this real quick and get to the tips that came in and then get to some fan feedback. Tommy's episode 3. All right, so people were asking me, I got a couple messages about the Last of Us. This is what I'm talking about. So here is Daryl Dixon. And this is when Daryl was fighting the guys. Now, this happened twice. All right, first off, I did go back and rewatch it. Daryl gets shot in the neck. Oh, where was it? Why isn't that playing? That's weird. I've never had that crash on me like that. Daryl gets shot in the neck. Like, definitely in the neck. Then he grabs his neck and he's like, get me the med kit. Then they knock him out and he wakes up in a bathtub and his shoulder is stitched. Now, he's clearly like this. His shoulder is stitched. And I'm wondering if that is a subtle homage to Rick in his premiere episode from The Walking Dead. His wound moves, and it's a big plot hole. It's kind of like a Easter egg for fans. Like, oh yeah, Rick gets shot here, but it's later here when he's wounded. I'm wondering if they did that as kind of like, see, we're big fans, and this is an Easter egg, or is it just a mistake? Because if you look right here, I'm pretty sure blood comes out. I might be covering it, actually. Yeah, I'm covering it. Fuck me. Some people probably don't care, but let me go away. Right here. He gets shot up. Well, the neck wound doesn't matter, but I just want to point out that I went back and rewatched it, and it is so distracting. It is way off. this part here, where he's on the ground and he's asking for him not to shoot him, and he has his hand up and he's like, "Oh, don't shoot." This is the part where I was like, man, that's oddly just like Last of Us. I wonder why they did a scene where they're doing this escort mission. This right here, they're going to do an escort mission. They have this scene that looks like they ripped it right. And it's small, given. It's not a big deal. But I just thought it was odd. And someone asked me about it, and I just wanted to play it back to back so you can see the part I'm talking about, because you might have forgotten. It was in the first episode. Right here.
Sir.
This part. Where the army guy. It did it again.
Sir. We are not sick.
We are not sick, bro. I don't know why it's doing that, but the army guy goes up to her.
Sir.
Goes up to them. Why is it doing that? Yeah, that's right here. Where it's like, don't.
I'm sorry. Please don't.
See what I mean by, like, this is nothing. This is no big deal. Now, don't get me wrong. This isn't like, oh my God, two scenes looked alike. Oh no. I just thought this is what brought my attention. I was like, oh, that scene looked a lot like Last of Us. That's neat or weird, whatever. Then you find out there's an escort mission. All right. Then they copy that other thing from The Last of Us. Then they in episode 2, now it's the girl that was pregnant, got bit right before she gives birth, copied from The Last of Us. And you start to see these patterns and you're thinking, fuck, man, I know where they're going with this. They're going to start slapping in shit they've seen in popular post-apocalyptic movies. The Kid Village. They got the locations so they can show us certain locations. They got some of the cheaper generic stuff from other properties. I'm just dreading some of the bigger elements being just copy and pasted. We're going to put Trick or Treat on the thing to show some love for Sam. Let me scroll back here. I'm going to shut up. I don't know how many people in the chat like this episode or not, but I'm done. I ranted about it enough. Tailspin, thank you very much for the $5 tip. I feel the spin-off dropping the ball already. It's decent enough for me to keep watching, though. I am going to stick it out until you guys get sick of hearing me bitch about it, because I already know. I don't think I'm going to love it. I would be shocked if episode 3 dropped and I'm like, oh, randomly, I love this. 1 and 2 was ass, but I love this. Let me put Phantom Knight. Oh, shit. What did I do? Properties. There we go. Let me put Phantom Knight on here. First off, thank you very much, Phantom Knight, again. And let me pull up the chat. Yeah, I had the taskbar hidden, but I'm gonna change that. Simply because sometimes I like to go fast to the taskbar. I didn't realize how quick I jumped to the taskbar, but I do it pretty quick. Now, and I want you guys to vote. If you're in here, please vote. I do want to see more than just the people who might share similar thoughts and opinions, because I'm really truly interested if I'm just losing, I'm just being burned out from the Walking Dead, or now keep in mind, I don't think this episode was irredeemable trash like Fear the Walking Dead. However, taking into consideration some of the biggest plot elements are stolen from other. Keep in mind, the whole sister being pregnant and all that, it boils down to just stolen from The Last of Us. And I say that like that because there's no fucking way that you have these writers totally blind to the fact that Last of Us did so great and then coincidentally wrote a post-apocalyptic zombie show with the same plot points. There's no way they did that coincidentally. There's no way. Excuse me. Ever since I started working out in the heat, I got to chug water. I'm always hot. I think I got fire in my blood. Ronnie, where you been? I've been working. It's going good though. I've been working. I took a maintenance job, and I was working farther out. I'm working closer in, so that way not much travel time compared to before. And I'm making that. I'm molding that into something that I can use to help fund some of the content I want to do starting next year. Because there's stuff I've been really wanting to do, but you need some decent funds in order to make it work. So I just was like, all right, I'm gonna go into this and yada yada yada. Long story short, it's getting to the point where I'm setting up. What's the best way to? It's not like I want to keep things hidden. I'm trying to cut out all the boring bullshit, but it's getting to a point where it's getting closer to having more consistent content start coming out. And I keep bringing that up, but what I mean that by is like in a few weeks you'll see a little bit more, and then in a few more weeks you'll see a little bit more, and then you'll see something in particular come, like every I don't want to give a time, but let's say like every 2 weeks on this day, blah blah blah. We're getting closer and closer to that. So in the medieval mace. The medieval mace was cool. Will Daryl get hit in a golf club too? I don't know if he'll get hit with a golf club. Creatures of Demon liked the episode though. J Spot, thank you very much for another 17 months with the Mad Mob. I can't get in the shows Eve ever since the pandemic and the writer's strike. This episode is not even close to the first episode. Can't help you there, bud. I'm not watching this trash. Lost all interest in this franchise a long time ago. I ain't mad at you. Yo, Ronnie, have you heard of the Strangers trilogy they're apparently working on? No, I didn't hear anything about Strangers trilogy. I am looking forward to, what's today's date? The 17th. No One's Gonna Save You. I'm hoping that's good. It's been a while since we had a really good zombie show. Oh, thank you very much, Austin. I'm waiting for Connor's thing to kick in. It should kick in. His super chat. I don't know why it's taking so long. There it is.
Why can't these writers come up with original content? We want more zombie content, but not just more of the same shit. I feel you on the needing lots of water. I help install doors and windows all day.
Well, I tell this story of I was having a few beers with actual working writers in Hollywood years ago. I think it's like 2 decades ago, and by now I was like fucking 17, 18 or something. Long story short, I was doing security in a VIP tent, and anyhow, there was big deal writers, and one of them was explaining something like, you'll never believe this, because I was a movie fan geeking out, and I'll leave any details out that would I don't think it matters anymore. It was so long ago, but the reason I stress that so much is I don't even know if it's a lack of confidence, if it's stress of, because having we all as fans, as movie watchers, can suddenly like, oh man, you know what would be a good idea? And a lot of the times it might be a good idea because you're talking about what you personally would find interesting if it was to happen on screen. But imagine these people who have $1 million franchises, movies, TV shows. I know we see a lot of them fail upwards, but imagine the real stress of them being unsure. Like, I could fail upwards, but I could also get bitch slapped down to the bottom. I have this, $1 million show. I'm responsible for this episode. Fuck. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a lot of weight. So in all honesty, knowing that it was years ago where that was such kind of like an underground secret where it was like, listen, if you see one summer this thing work and this become trendy, but see, back then it was like pre-internet in a way, so it was like, what's trendy, what's catchy, what's yada yada yada, what do you see fans say a lot, repeat a lot, blah blah blah. You just take it, and whether it's plot, whether it's comebacks, you know what I'm saying, like you take it and you put it in your shit. If they loved it there, they'll love it here. I think nowadays though, they're just getting so sloppy with it. So I don't want to make excuses for them, but honestly, think about that pressure. Why can't these writers come up with original content? Think about the pressure of having a multi-million-dollar franchise. If you're in that tight spot, what's easier? Taking the risk on something original, which I would argue we're dying for something fresh. Now, don't sit here and say like, an alien landed and now we have aliens, and that's fresh, but that's not good fresh. Okay, that's stupid fresh. But you have to come up with good fresh. So what do you think is more? You have all this stress, and you're trying to build a career and network with these people and stay in these circles. So you can either come up with something new and exciting and fresh that's risky. You don't know how the audience will react, or you just take something that they've already reacted to, positively, and then you just reincorporate that into your writing. So I personally think that's what's going on. For a number of different reasons. I don't like it. I don't think it's good. But to answer your question, I think that's why you see a lot of this shit. Oh man, we really got to make this Daryl Dixon show work. Well, what do? Fucking Last of Us was huge. Daryl's got to escort a kid. There's going to be the immunity. I'm still baffled, even though I know this shit and I've been aware of this shit just because I'm a fan of screenplay writing. I'm baffled they actually did the woman that was bitten right before giving birth. Like, that is just so blatantly copy and pasted. It's unfucking believable. I think it matters on if the kid is going to be immune or not, because if he is immune, that's almost like you should be shunned out of Hollywood because you just totally plagiarized your work. And it's amazing how, we'll shun other people for just ripping shit, but yeah, that if he is immune, like I said, though, I feel like they often do this where they build it up like it's going to be a big deal, but it's really not, It's going to be like, oh, we lied. You're just some random asshole, You're my nephew, shut up and now let's become survivors. Mid-episode, felt like Bill Burr should have played the American. Excuse me. Sebastian said, someone please explain to me why they already renewed both spinoffs for season 2, but Rick's story, which most people want, only gets 6 episodes. They're trolling us at this point. I don't know. I don't know. Are you excited for The Exorcist? No. I think the trailer for Exorcist looks like fucking cringe. Not that it was bad, but I don't feel like it progressed as much as it should have for only having 4 more episodes left. I agree with that a lot. They're going to have a big problem doing the Rick Daryl reunion too if Daryl is supposed to be in France. Well, that's the thing, is like they might not do it, especially not in the first season of the Rick show. And I don't believe at this point it's going to be 1 season. I don't believe that at all. I'll believe it when it's over, I thought the American was the dude from Shaun of the Dead at first. I could see that. Or if they adapt The Walking Dead, the alien with Rick's brother. They're not doing the alien with Rick's brother. That's the comic stuff. That's not the same as the show. Stain, the funny thing is these are the same people striking because they want thousands more. Well, no, I take that back. They could do the alien with Rick's brother. I wouldn't put it past them to just slap it in there. I'm actually sweating. The lights on the fan. The lights in here. I have the fan off. That was dumb. It's not quite like end of summer yet down south, so that was dumb. I'm starting to get like hot, but I don't put it past them to do. Oh, Rick's brother coincidentally just runs into Daryl Dixon, Rick's best friend. It's just so pointless at this point. I just don't know why it would ever even happen. I just can't even fathom why it would happen. It's not like Daryl has a connection to Rick and he's going to get back to him. And then it's like, oh, he runs into Rick's brother. Oh, bring Rick's brother back. It serves 0 point at all. The only reason we saw Rick's brother in the comic book is because they wanted to sell a single issue comic from another artist that sucked dick, you know? I'm talking gag reflexes and all. I don't know if I said this back then. I think I said like, this art is not my style. It's like I stuck a pen up my ass, I squatted down and just started twerking. That's what this art looks like. It's fucking horrible. And I get it that art is, subjective, and it's like, oh, well, you take this shitty, a prisoner wipes his own fecal matter on the wall, and you can be like, that's so artistic, I'm not that way. If it's not talented art, it doesn't fucking count, bro. Anyhow, wasn't Ellie being the daughter of a bitten woman invented on the TV show? Let me see. Then that idea can't be a copy. They were filming episode 5 and 6 when that episode came out. It's a copy. I don't give a fuck. Let me think about the game now, because we don't have any information as far as a scene happening, but I'm trying to think about the information as it was told, because you know how you can find the audio logs or notebooks or whatever. I don't remember it ever happening as a scene, but I'll tell you right now, there's no fucking way I believe at all, not even a little bit, that was just just coincidence. There's no fucking way I believe that. Out of all the things to write, they just, 2 of the biggest post-apocalyptic zombie shows wrote the same shit, and out of nowhere too. It's not like you thought, oh, we're having a Daryl show. Oh, he's going to escort a kid and grow a bond with them. I mean, it's just random. That would be like the last thing I would think. They'd be like, oh yeah, let's throw Daryl with a kid. So however it happened, there's no way I believe it at all. And don't forget too, just because you have to look at the timeline of it deeper, just because we're seeing it at that time, there's still information that goes behind the scenes between friends and associates and coworkers that know each other, speak openly. And this goes right down to the guy holding the boomstick, They all talk to each other about scenes, about what they saw, about what they know. There's a ton of inside information from film sites that makes it around to other sets, especially with friends and associates of them. A ton. So could I see it making the rounds some way, shape, or form? Absolutely. I would buy that any day before I believed it was just like, harump, they accidentally did the same thing. I like to see the downfall of Paris, but I wish we would have gotten more of it. I like the dark story of how the parents didn't make it to pick up the kids. I'm cool with Outbreak scenes, and especially done well. I like them a lot, especially in a post-apocalyptic show that we've gotten so much, of the post. I like seeing the breakdown. I think it matters though on who it is, why we are seeing it, and just having it be her and her sister's story. I don't know. And what's there? She stole a few watches and did some coke, and her and her sister ran away. It's just so empty, if you take out the zombie stuff in the 5 seconds it was there, there's like nothing there. But what was there zombie related, I loved it. Ellie's mother being infected was in The Last of Us 1, wasn't it? Yes. Ellie's mother being infected was in Last of Us 1 for the TV show On Scene. I totally forget what write-up they had for Ellie's mother in the game. I'm sure someone could Google it right now, and it'll show you all the information from the game itself. I don't remember from the game, but from the show for sure. I see your point. I feel like even if you go something that worked before, it never hit the same as first time. It just gets boring after that. I agree. I'm mad when I saw the donkey. Oh, the donkey! Hold up. That was dumb. Daryl's an idiot. You're mad you saw the donkey. They literally have no original ideas for how to handle animals in the... Well, here's the thing. The donkey, right? Not the jackass. The jackass is Daryl. The donkey is the plot. Think about it. The donkey leaving is why they need a horse. The donkey's their vehicle. They need the donkey to travel. What happens? Oh, there's 5 zombies. Daryl, let's get rid of the donkey. As if he hasn't taken on dozens upon dozens of zombies at a time. As if he hasn't, figured some way of slowing them down, blocking their path, even temporarily so they can escape with the donkey and then reconfigure a route. You mean to tell me everywhere they were, and it was just that one little area that was bottlenecked, they couldn't back up in some way, shape, or form and replan their strategy? Nope. They get rid of the one thing and why? Because the writers need a horse to do the plot with the kids, the adultless kids. Daryl's such a fucking idiot. And here's the thing is, the scene should have been, damn, that's a lot of zombies. And it came out of awkward spots where it was like, oh, it came out of nowhere, but still believable because they move slow. Maybe like an old brick wall, like an old type of building structure. And then they start hearing like the rumbles and Daryl's like, oh shit. And the wall comes down and there's hundreds of zombies and it's like, fuck, get rid of the donkey. But here's the thing. They don't have money to do that. So that's why we got like 8 zombies and Daryl's, having a period over it, freaking out, crying, because Andrew Lincoln wants no part in this trash anymore. The kid being immune makes no sense because everyone is infected already. The bite is irrelevant to the infection. She's saying that to get people to protect him, in my opinion. Now, here's 2 problems. One problem is we're talking about AMC. AMC doesn't care. AMC went from, we've had slow-moving zombies, and I know someone's going to go, but Ronnie, they're variants, bro. Yeah, okay. Zombies aren't like comic books. We could print a variant cover of a comic book. Zombies don't just randomly like, oh, here's a variant zombie, but it's in France, suddenly it's in the final season of The Walking Dead. Why? Because we need it for promo for a 10-second spot. I don't trust AMC to pull some immune bullshit. Not at all. Because even them, they don't want to like lock down what happens. Because even fans argue, because I've tried to explain it on this channel where everyone is infected. The bite, the best way to look at it is a dirty infection. It is so dirty, it burns you out and kills you. Since you're infected with the bug, that turns you after you die from the bite. The bite doesn't turn you into the zombie. The bite kills you because you're already infected, you turn. Now, if he was to be immune, now, just for the sake of argument, he could die and not turn. Now, what does that do? I don't know. For movie logic, he could be the key to creating a cure to where people die and don't turn. Which now, if you think about it, not only would you not turn when you die, which could be the building blocks to restoring civilization, but even better, his blood could be the immunity to keep the bites from killing you, not turning you. So again, I don't trust AMC. Now, I'm not saying this isn't in the show. I don't trust AMC to play with this shit, you know? Do I think they would play with it? Yes. You know? Yes, I do. I think they would ruin and retcon they're desperate, you know? I recently rewatched Last of Us on Max, and after my second viewing, it was just okay. It's a damn shame because the show wasn't. I thought The Last of Us was trash. I'll be honest. I'm never watching it again, unless I'm reviewing it. They took all the awesome shit out of the show and gave us like the quick version of whatever the game was. You know, like wow. Let me scroll down to the bottom here. Thank you very much, J Spot, for the $2. I love your descriptions. Thank you very much. That Dumpy? What Dumpy? Well, the image of Ronnie twerking won't get out of my head now. Oh, shit, my bad. The idea was definitely out there. People thought we'd play as Ellie's mother in Last of Us 2 in a flashback. Oh, yeah, people did go nuts talking about Ellie's mother for a minute. So many different prediction videos, speculation videos. Just the fan base went nuts. Definitely better than Dead City. When I saw the train scene, I thought of Train to Busan. Oh, yeah. Less than half of France speaks English. I mean, less than half. I think that's still pretty decent, though. You know, yeah. This whole episode essentially was need a horse to get back on our journey. That's it for actual overall plot. AMC can't help but sacrifice animals for no reason. Just go back, dude. There's no need to kill a donkey. Agreed. That Laurent Love. Did I say his name right? I don't get how he wasn't pissed at Daryl when Laurent is supposed to be intelligent. I agree. I don't know why anyone in that scene wasn't like, Daryl, you dick, just turn around. Zombies crawl. They walk so slow. Turn around. That's why I said they didn't put that scene together good. We're going to be ending the poll. So if you just got here, go ahead and vote so we can wrap the poll up. Not sure if you've touched on Daryl using the mace again that we've already seen in the Whisperer War. All I mentioned was I like the mace and I like the idea. I will mention it's dumb as for them to cut to commercial break. Now, I watched on AMC Plus, like probably a lot of you did, I'm sure, but you got screwed anyway. Because if you watched it on live TV, they cut to commercial after the douche, you know? And if you watched it on AMC Plus, they cut to a black screen for several seconds. So even though you didn't get a commercial, you get this cool action moment, and then he hits the zombie in the head, and then boop, cut to black. And then it cuts back on, and he's still fighting. Like, who puts a commercial break in quite possibly the worst position I've seen in years? AMC, that's who. Not sure if you touch on this. Yeah, you know, I was just thinking Phantom Knight about thinking back to that Train to Busan. It has me wondering now because fans love Train to Busan. See what I mean though about it just feels more and more like they go, okay, well, we're going to do a flashback. Well, I guarantee you there's some movie out there about some coke sniffing, pickpocket that fans loved. It might not be in the genre that I liked, but I guarantee it's out there. And they were in the marketing room, the meeting room of the writers going, oh yeah, I saw this movie once. This was popular. Okay. Oh, she's a coke sniffing, fucking thief. And then what? Well, she goes home. Zombie fans love Train to Busan. Well, we don't have time or money for a train. What if she's outside and it goes by? Perfect. Put it in, That's how it's starting to feel. Did Daryl leave dog with Judith? I don't know. I don't know. I'm assuming so. Not sure. Okay. Let me go down. This episode should have went right into the people at the port were. How Daryl got to France, it better be CRM or what the fuck are they doing? I mean, it better be CRM. They've already built up a bunch of stuff. Don't drop it only to do clones now. The Laurent kid isn't anything special. Isabella's tripping. Because of her Walker sister, that's just dumb luck. I agree at this point in time, and how bad does that girl look now, though? To create all this stupid shit around some random kid. she better turn into the villain, because there's no way, if this is all bullshit, there's no way I'm gonna like anything about this character moving forward. You know, here's a piece of shit character that does all the wrong shit. Oh, but she's a hero later on. No. There's no way the kid is only baby to be born from a bitten pregnant woman. I agree there too. Statistically, there's no way. What's up with The Walking Dead and having children only groups? This is like the 4th or 5th time we've had a child group. I don't know, man. I don't know. I just don't know. He's not immune. She's just telling people he's a messiah so they will protect him. Now, see, here's the thing is, like, sure, I agree there as well. I don't trust AMC to pull the immune shit. At this point in time, that's what it seems like, is this is all bullshit. She's just lying. Because, again, The Walking Dead shouldn't have a messiah storyline. That's just dumb. It's not grounded. It doesn't make sense, you know? I have no faith in AMC and fully expect the show at some point to bring the BF in the BF she left at the gas station back. You know what? And he's going to have that gun too. Like 10 years later, he's going to shoot her in the ass or something. She's going to be like, wow, I haven't been railed like that in years, you know? Ronnie, in your opinion, what were the best seasons of The Walking Dead and when did the universe go to crap? Seasons 1 to 6, and the show went to shit. Season 2 of episode 7, you know? I think season 7, episode 1, astonishingly came out as one of their strongest episodes, fighting against all odds. The reveals were still ruined to all hell, but the episode structure, how it was filmed, the acting, how intense it was, that still is a rock star episode. From that point on, they just shit the bed, you know? They Amber Turded everywhere. They waterboarded you with, you know, Amber Turd doing the fucking thing right in your face. It's just bad. It's just all bad. Sucks because the people who didn't play the game think that The Last of Us show is amazing, which means HBO is being reinforced to do the same with season 2. See, I really don't care about season 2 simply because season 2 is the point where they lose no matter what. Now, they don't lose anything, but in the fan bases, the people that didn't like part 2 of The Last of Us, you win right now, no matter what. Why? Because if they kill Joel right away in season 2, there's going to be like, it's going to go bad. A lot of people are there for Joel. However, if they do one of two things, which if they keep Joel alive for any length of time, past the first episode, second episode-ish, they're admitting they failed with part 2, which is just, what's that word I'm looking for? It just props up the criticism of part 2. Because keep in mind, anyone who didn't like part 2 was told to be just sexist or homophobic or whatever they said before. That was crazy. It's like, you disagreed with the story choices, you're suddenly now homophobic. And it's like, that's so weird how I loved the gay character in the first part. I still love the gay character in the second part, but I hate this weak storyline you chose. I'm suddenly homophobic. The math is not mathing, but so that's why it would kind of what's that word I'm looking for? And the other thing is if they take Joel out, but then keep him a steady part of the show, again, it's still oh shit, what's that word I'm looking for? It's like I don't know, man. Fuck it doesn't matter. Not a fan of black screens. I always think my Fire TV stick quit and is rebooting. It would be cool if Daryl's show connected with the Rick show, but just wishful thinking. It would be cool. These remaining shows AMC is pushing are just cash grabs. The writing is just lazy in every way. How long till someone's competent has The Walking Dead? I don't think it's going to be for a while. Her plan worked, though. All the nuns all die trying to save him. Well, here's the thing, though. You can tell me that, you know, she has this secret dark plan to pretend he's special so everyone protects him, you know, because she promised his sister she would protect him. And I still think that makes her a horrible character, a human being as a character. But also, don't forget, like, she can't predict. I guess you could say she's like always afraid that she can't protect him herself. But again, like, she can't like predict that they're going to be raided, because these people came into the nuns plenty of times before and they never, you know, killed them. You know what I mean? She can't predict that they would just go rabid one day and the nuns would all sacrifice. But I see what you're saying, but I also think that it's just a weak, it's just weak character work for AMC to put in there. And not AMC, but the writers. Daryl showing up in France, children group, French nuns talking English. Yep. The bad guy at the end somehow shows up next episode too, despite being way behind them and needing a cane to walk. And he has no clue where they're headed, you know, unless I missed it. Plot twist. Laurent gets bitten in the finale, dies, and Isabella's exposed for being full of shit. That would be funny, except they won't go that route. That would be funny. It would kind of feel like you wasted your time, though. I laughed when I saw Daryl asleep on the boat to France. The Walking Dead started to lose people, I think, when they resorted to cheap gimmicks. Glenn fake out death, and Negan Lucille cliffhanger, etc. I agree to that. And again, my analysis, not analysis, but my opinion spec comes from once fans got hit with the gimmick, it's like finding out your girlfriend or boyfriend is just a massive whore, you know? You just lose like so much respect from. If anyone out there on the street can just plow your boyfriend or girlfriend and they really have no standards, your respect for them goes like way down. You know, they're no longer like a prize. I mean, anyone can have them, so there's no value there. It's like that when AMC is doing these gimmicks, like, oh my God, one of them will die tonight. Get ready. Get your tissues ready. Psych, cliffhanger. It's like you just realized the person you're dating is a massive, filthy, stinky slut, you know? And your respect just bottoms out. And that goes for guys and girls. You're all filthy whores. But once that respect is gone, from that point on, and with AMC and The Walking Dead, the split storytelling, the poor budget, the greenery or the wood scenery, the lack of locations, the lack of true zombie stuff, that starts chipping away at the viewership. And that's why you saw, in my opinion, I feel that's how it went down. That's why you saw like this big hit with the cliffhanger. But fans returned, piqued by curiosity. But once they realized it's true, it was spoiled, it was ruined, and blah, blah, blah. Once that disrespect hit, a little bit left for episode 2. A little bit more left for episode 3. A little bit more for 4. Maybe it went up for 5. Who knows? And then even more for 6, 7, 8, blah, blah, blah. Until we lost 15 million viewers, you know? I say this often, I know, but I want a Clem show. Everyone loves seeing little Carl grow up in the show. Imagine a 6-year-old actress in season 1 and just stretch the show out. Yeah, I hate to burst everyone's bubble, but I have to say the same thing I always say. AMC doesn't have the rights to Clementine. They're never getting the rights to Clementine. Now, I don't want to say never. Kirkman has sued AMC in the past, so it's not likely. And the reason I say like they don't have the rights is because they only have the rights to the Walking Dead comic. Issues 1 to 193. That is it. Even though Clementine is a character that lives in that universe, in the comic universe, She's not in the comic, so therefore AMC would have to renegotiate and repay and relicense Clementine, Lee, and I don't know anything about the contract and how that works with Skybound, because not Skybound, Telltale Games, because Telltale went under, Skybound bought them out, blah blah blah. I mean, who knows? But we're never getting
shooting
Clementine.
The tanks seemed off. When he goes to take the shot, the zombies behind him seemingly stop like they hit an invisible wall. The way the explosion happened, they all seemed to disappear. Lol.
Shooting the tanks. When was that? The bridge part, right? At the end, yeah, the guy, I'm an American. He's got a little baseball cap on. Like, come on now, man. You couldn't give us like some type of cool French. I'm trying to think. I don't know anything about France, man. Man, I think, oh man, I should hit up, Princess Pie used to watch Channel a lot. I should hit her up and be like, yo, what's up with France, man? She knows a little bit. What's up? What would be a cool, like, villain from using, just stuff from, I don't even know how to even give like examples, but is this the, oh, that was actually 3 hits that wasn't ruined by the commercial. That was pretty cool. This, I think it was when he first drops. Yeah, this is just trash. That was stupid. So dumb. He left the gun. But let me see if, where does he blow it up at? Right here? Yeah, right here. He's talking about this part. Oh, I see what you mean. They do kind of look stiff. You mean like how they go up in the air, kind of like, and then fall back down? That is weird. You guys can't see that. Let me move. Let me cut off my webcam for a second. It's just, it's stiff. It's a bit stiff and weird. Let me put on the sound. Oh, shit. So it's kind of like, whoa. I don't know if that was what you're talking about, but yeah, they are a bit stiff there. Their app sucks. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. I admit they're a little stiff there, but I don't know if that's what you're talking about. It's just not enough there. Oh wait, where am I? Let's get last minute thoughts and opinions. I'm going to shut off the poll now. I think we got enough. It's not as low as maybe I personally would like. I would like to see a poll like 30. No. I get it though. You guys are definitely enjoying it more than me, as far as like percentage wise. I'm glad there's still a lot of people still enjoying it. I just wish we get some better, man. I don't know. I just want like 6 amazing episodes of The Walking Dead again. They changed the story for The Last of Us Season 2. They'll just be admitting they were wrong all along. Absolutely. Vindicated? Is that what I'm thinking of? That could work. Like the fans would be vindicated. The ones that were saying, this story is lame. You created 2 iconic video game characters. Modern day. 2 new iconic video game characters. And your next thought was, let's do some lame, cheap fucking revenge story. You had something that was so simple, beautiful, and amazing, like Last of Us Part 1, and your next thought was, let's do some basic bullshit? Like, what? And we know why. They needed to get rid of the white lead. They've already, pretty much came out and said it, It's just a shame. Like, that's what you get, though. Even if you want to get rid of them, but you're still going to do, like, a boring... Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. They needed to, because they had to reboot the franchise in their own game, which created the Lev and Abby is the new Joel and Ellie. Totally forgot about that. Yes, you're right. So that now had, instead of the first Last of Us Part 1 had a gay character that was only gay in the DLC. That wasn't enough. So they needed the Abby, muscular, goes against the norms of the feminine, because that's another thing. You can't be feminine anymore. That's not allowed. No big tits. Can't have tits. You got to be shamed for tits, which is weird, because I think you can have beauty in, women that are into working out. There's definitely a beauty there. But then you can have like the classic, beach body, hot as shit. You know what I mean? Fucking curvy all over the place. You can have both, but we can't do that nowadays, apparently. I say it often. Okay, let's catch up. Sad that the Walking Dead writers steal from The Last of Us when they have all that content from the comic books. Yeah, that's ironic, ain't it? You saw the map they're following. Oh, he did see the map. Wait, they left the map they're following? I forgot about that. But yeah, fuck, man. I checked out at that part. Season 6 was a cliffhanger fest. The finale was the breaking point for many people. Didn't help season 7 and 8. I agree. Bit movie. I love this episode. I hope not. That would be a shame. We need less and less people to like this episode. The Phantom Knight tip again. Did I? I think I might have caught it, but the scene of Daryl. Oh yeah, that was the scene for Daryl shooting tanks. And Phantom Knight, thank you very much for the 20 and 25 tip. When he goes to take the shot, the zombies behind him seemingly stop. Like the zombies that took the shot. Let me watch. I got so caught up in the ones that did the whole like stiff jump, which is fine. I think it's a little funny, but it's fine. It looks cool. It blows up. It looks real. It doesn't look like CGI crazy, but he's talking about these zombies here. And yes, this is a common thing that The Walking Dead and a lot of zombie shows do, where they'll have zombies that do the they get on you and they'll like they don't want to like a zombie would be like bitch, but they'll have zombies go, I'm gonna bite you, you punched me, they do that a lot. And even little stuff like that dramatically helps improve the quality of zombie content, where how hard is it? No, it is hard, but seriously, put in the fucking work to have a zombie. They're already this close. Have them start to get closer. Now, why don't they? You might. Well, this scene, maybe this angle, they filmed it, 10, 15 times. Zombies, stand in one spot, go side to side like you're, try not to move a lot, because we want it to be, what's the word I'm looking for? They want it to be, it has to match up. What's that word I'm looking for? So what they'll do is they'll be like, all right, Daryl, go. And the actor lifts up the gun, bang. And then it's like, okay, do another take. Bang. Okay, one more. Bang. Okay, one more. Bang. So they do 15 takes. But if you have these zombie going to reach for him, that zombie has to reach for him the same exact way, spot, means, like every single time. And a lot of times those extras aren't hitting those marks. You can't put a mark there because the ground is in the frame, in the shot. I mean, it's cheaper and easier to just have them go, all right, stay right there, and be like, So just a little rant about. Yeah, I see that. You see how the zombie, he doesn't step, but he kind of just moves his knee. That's like some of the things you'll see when they want them to be in motion, but not do anything. I love this guy right here. No, he just face plants. He just face plants right the fuck down. That's awesome. All right. You can't see him. Hold up. This guy. Where's my webcam? This guy. Yeah, this guy. He just face first dives down. Let's play it. Ugh. I don't know why. It looks funny. Daryl should have been in the boat, passed out, washed ashore. Would have made more sense. Better CRM ports. Honestly, he should have been knocked out on a life raft boat, half getting ready, like tied up, and there should be 2 very wounded CRM soldiers. One hops out, tries to like pull the boat to shore. The other one's really bleeding out. They're not going to make it. And they're like, oh, we're off course. We should be up there. Did you see the rest of the boat? Is it salvageable? Did they go down? Is so-and-so alive? And it's a bit hectic. They're so wounded. Daryl's just like fucking dead. And then just as one tries to move the other and they're like in agonizing pain, Daryl just comes up and he's like something brutal, like just punches the guy in the throat, and he's all like, ah, and then the other person Daryl grabs, like maybe they're shot in the side. Oh man, I'm making these funny faces and you guys can't see me. Like the other CRM person is just shot inside, and they're holding their side here, and Daryl jumps up after he punches the one in the throat, and he just digs his fingers in their gunshot wound and like rips it open even more, and they start just leaking out, and then they die. I don't know, but I would have been fine with that. I would have been like, fuck, hell yeah. Did I miss something? What happened? All of the tippers and donos too. What I miss? Oh yeah. Big thank you to every supporter. I wouldn't want to see it anyways. AMC would screw it up. Could Skybound legally make their own spinoff of Clem and Lee and Kenny? Now here's the thing. I don't know. I would speculate, just from what very little I know about Hollywood contracts. I would speculate that AMC gave them some sort of timed, like a no-go where they can't film a live action Walking Dead. Because imagine if Kirkman sold, here's an example, Kirkman sells HBO or AMC, The Walking Dead, live action. And then Kirkman, who still has the license for the comic, turns around and goes, okay, HBO, you and me are going to make a Walking Dead Clementine show. It would be a total idiotic investment on AMC's part to allow that to happen contractually. So what usually happens is they'll say like, well, we're going to buy this license. You can't make it. You can do the comic stuff. You can do cartoons. You could do animated. You could do this and video games, but you cannot do live action. And if it's a sweet deal, no, in AMC it was like permanent, but if it was a sweet deal, they would say for the next like 15 years, you can't do live action. For the next, 20 years, you can't do live action. But most likely it's forever. I don't know how that works as far as the length of it. But if I was to guess, that's what I would guess. It would have to be, I'm only guessing, animated in some way, shape, or form. But if that's the case, Skybound might be able to do it, but here's why I don't think they can, because they haven't. Not just Clem and anybody. They haven't done any animated Walking Dead stuff. Clearly animated. They've done some little promo stuff, but they've never done like straight up, here's a thing, and that could be in the contract. They might not be able to. So I would say with Clem and Lee, your best bet is they reboot the game. I shit you not. Like, let's get rid of that. I'm sorry, but the shitty gameplay from Telltale. Let's get Lee and Clem, get rid of the stupid pick your dialogue crap, and give us their story rebooted in a animated shape where it looks like the comic, but it's cleaner. So it's animated in between what a comic looks like and the Last of Us, for example, or Days Gone. It's something like that where it's a really clean, cool gameplay. Very a game like that for Skybound would blow the fuck up. My personal opinion. Imagine restarting Clem and Lee's story, staying true but adding some real fresh shit to it, but in a clean, smooth play style as like I hate to bring something up and you think that only, but imagine like open world games, and not open world, but imagine the gameplay itself of Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption, Days Gone, Ghost of Tsushima. Like you're in that world. The Last of Us. I think that would explode Skybound into the next. Skybound was a company that I honestly thought was going to be the next big indie giant. And I don't know what they're doing, but they're releasing shit that I don't know, man. It's like, your core is The Walking Dead. Mature, grounded, zombie, gory, horror, blood, guts. You know that. Even if it's not crazy like Terrifier, Blood and Guts, that's your core. That was your core. But it's as if they just were like, oh, let's make some goofy, colorful, silly. And now recently you see them, Skybound, they own The Walking Dead. They're doing what I do. They're like asking you guys to tip them to help support the company. Not really, they're asking for investments. You invest in it, but in reality there's no way an average person's investing in anything that's going to be substantial to a company like that. They could turn around and sell anything Walking Dead related and make a ton of money. I mean, what are you going to do? Give them, to them, give them $50, $100? You know what I mean? That won't do anything for them unless a million of you do it. Anyhow, so they're like doing the same shit that I would be doing. I'm just some asshole that, fixes air conditioners. I don't yet. I want to, but I'm just saying. I just fix dishwashers, like I'm just a maintenance guy, I'm a maintenance man. Of course I'm going to be like, guys, I need some money. I'm fucking broke as shit. You know what I mean? This is Skybound. They got The Walking Dead. I don't know. The first thing I would do for them, in their position is the number one thing I would do. Two things. One, I would immediately get a plan of action to look at doing some sort of video game that might not be open world, that would be the gameplay style itself of Days Gone, Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, that type of freedom, free-flowing, not open world, but semi-open world. And I would look at maybe either new characters or giving you a canon, new, fresh Lee and Clementine. I think that would be amazing. You start off playing as Lee and it's coming. You know how the story goes. And by the end of, the first game, 80-hour journey, you go from playing Lee into playing Clementine, into killing Lee, and then, completing the game as Clementine off on her own. And maybe hidden in the game is some bonus level where you link up with the new characters that will spill into the second game. Or it could be big enough to where you could combine the Telltale's, the inspired version of Telltale's Game 1 and Game 2 into the first game. And not stealing all the elements. You're not replaying every second. You're taking the main stuff, only the best stuff that has lasted. With, you know what I mean? Like Lee getting out of prison, going on the run, finding Clementine, like all these main beats, you're going to take that, but then really fleshed out. That would be the first thing I would do if I was Skybound. The second thing I would do as a plan of action would be looking at, maybe it's not possible, but some sort of animated Walking Dead. Use Walking Dead as what it was meant for, a stepping stone into bigger, better, badder. And they could be the next like beast on the block when it comes. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's harder in their shoes than I'm aware of, but Skybound should be the indie fucking champions right now. Blumhouse, get the fuck out of here. Skybound should be doing, Blumhouse shit when it comes to indies. They should have that locked down. They should be the new Blumhouse, have that locked down, have a video game out that's crushing it, have some other, yada, 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 and then bring up some of these other projects. They could still do that fun, goofy, colorful shit. Yeah, whatever. But, tap into the audience that was there salivating for more of what you had. Anyhow, Walking Dead will be all the greatest show that ended it sooner. I miss the days when they had fear of Daryl dying. Feels hollow otherwise. Yeah, Daryl falling into the pits of zombies. It's like, ooh, is he going to get hurt? But he's not going to die. Love how the walkers behind Daryl didn't make him move until after the explosion. Yeah. Behind him are like stuck in that position too. Yeah, it was the ones behind him. I'm sure I got plenty of comments, but I've played the Corey video game. I hated it. I thought it was shit. Ronnie's great ideas and has passion. Well, I think even if you don't like my ideas, I definitely have a lot of passion. Ever since I was a kid, I have adored coming up with creative ideas for storytelling. I wrote fiction in like a school paper. I got into that, but then I stopped doing it because I thought it was like, I don't know, like if I could change anything, I would go back in time. And for some reason, when I was a kid, I thought writers were like sophisticated, wealthy. Like I thought they were, and I was not. I was just some poor piece of shit. And I never imagined, from my background, that you could just grow up and be a writer. I just didn't fathom it. So I always loved it. I wrote stories and blah, 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 but I never even thought about doing anything with it, just because I always thought you had to have money come from money. You had to, be good in school, go to school, do all this shit. And you do, because you don't want to write like, yo, dude went to the street block missing periods and all this other shit. You don't want run-on sentences. You want your grammar to be right. You don't want to be, writing some stupid shit. It sucks reading like really shitty grammar. Anyhow, but yeah, for such a long time, it took for it to dawn on me, like, bro, you could just be anybody. As long as you can write something that is clean to read and you have good creative ideas, people will read it. You don't have to be some asshole sipping scotch. Why can't the zombies behind Daryl get him when he's shooting the gun? Am I missing something? Like yeah, I see what the Phantom Knight was talking about. It's one of those behind Daryl where they need the zombies to be there for the shot, but they can't have it being out of sync when they start editing it together. That shit sounded awesome. I forgot what shit. Ronnie should be writing The Walking Dead. Well, I'm glad that sounded awesome. Lawrence summons the dead as the Messiah. Imagine, in the game, a Plague Tale, I think, Requiem. What was that? Where they control the rats. This new Messiah is going to control like the dead. Wait, they already did that. Yeah, AMC or the writers are going to rip off. Was it Z Nation where they controlled the zombies? Only one of them. They did that a couple times, but yeah. They already continued Clem's story in the novels that are canon. Yes, they continued Clem's story in the novels. I mean, that's not really what I'm talking about. I understand. Well, I'm not really sure of the context of why you're saying that. I'm talking about, well, two things. One, those books are fucking trash. They're not even toilet paper. The art is embarrassingly, it's just, what are we doing? Just let's be real. That art is horrific. But I wasn't even thinking about the books because I'm talking about rebooting it. So whether the books are canon, whether the books are a fever dream, my whole idea with the video game would be because they can't make live action with Clem. I mean, I don't really shouldn't have to spell this out. I'm sure you're not saying like, they can't do, but there's already a story. That's not even relevant to what we're talking about. But I get what you're saying. Like there's a continuation of a story, poorly done in story and art, but yes, there is a continuation. Personally, that's not my canon, but HBO doesn't want zombies because they want Emmys. That's why The Last of Us barely had any infected in it in the episode 2, Defeating Miniature Strawberries, best episode impression. Dr. Death, we try new Walking Dead game, even though it looks bad. No, hell no. That new Walking Dead game, and this is what I don't get with Skybound. You can make a lot of money with video games, and maybe they do make a lot of money with shit video games because it doesn't take a lot to make it, but you get a whole bunch of idiots playing it, spilling money into it. That Walking Dead Betrayal game is laughably bad. Like the visuals on that, maybe it's addictive and fun to play. I'm not even going to try it. It looks terrible. I won't play it. I refuse. Skybound is sitting on a gold mine. They just don't know. I don't know if they, you know what I think it is, like here's the truth. If The Walking Dead didn't succeed, Kirkman wouldn't be like a zombie junkie. You know what I mean? Like, it's a part of his background. I mean, he loves, I think he loves it now more, but even back then when he talked about it, he only picked zombies because of the ease of popularity with that genre and the fan base. It was supposed to be a 6-issue, like, something to just, you know what I mean? And saying that, I don't think Kirkman is sitting there thinking like, yo, we need to hold it down. When it comes to the zombie genre, we need to hold it down. I don't think anybody in Skybound is saying that, which is so odd, but I don't think there's passionate, it doesn't feel like there's passionate zombie fans in there being like, bro, we need to be king when it comes to the genre. It doesn't feel that way at all. So I think Skybound's sitting on a gold mine, and it's not that they don't know it. They don't want it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they want the gold, but they don't want to do the zombie stuff for the gold. The zombie stuff opened the doors, but I don't know. It's just so weird. Because when you get shit like The Walking Dead Betrayal, who's going to fucking play that? It looks terrible. Why aren't we getting some really cinematic, epic, like smooth to play, like fuck it all? And I know why. They're going to say, well, it takes hundreds of millions of dollars. Well, you don't need to make one like that where it's 90 hours of gameplay and it rivals, AAA. I mean, come on now. Ronnie, would you rather spend time with replaying the Corey or rewatching episode 2? I would rather, whatever's quicker. I mean, shit. Do I have to play all of the Corey versus episode 2? Episode 2, 40 minutes and I'm done, unless you mean like, I don't know. It doesn't matter, Adabee. I'd be wasting 40 minutes no matter what I did. I don't want to do either one of them. Video game that's close to the comic would be dope. Hell yeah. The Corey is on his channel, not Ronnie Hayes. Is it? I forget which I did it on. Writing for movies and shows. Oh, I think I did do it on this channel because it was horror related. Writing movies and shows has dropped in quality across the board. All these new writers coming through have experienced no hardships, and it shows in their writing. No hardships is something I can definitely see. I got to shut down soon. I got to get ready for bed. I got work in the morning. Got to get up at 6. Honestly, I'd like to see a game like that, except open world. And once you finish main story mode, you get the access to play as characters you met or passed along the way, their story. I think that would be a dream, but I think that's just too much. I mean, you got open world, and then you're going to add 5 characters and play as their story. I mean, you're talking about multiple games. In a great world, that would be amazing, unless you can do those characters and do just a mission. I actually think that's doable. And that's really, look at Ghost of Tsushima's got so much content, unbelievable content, and a lot of it is very repetitive because you need to. You can't have all these unique things, but you could do like a mission because it would just be a skin of the character. As long as the framing for the development isn't wildly different, you could probably make that work. And then it would just be a skin that changes as far as the look of the character, get the voiceover work done. But I don't think a full game for all the characters that you come across, and I'm talking even if it's only like 3 or 4 main characters, I just don't think that's doable. Unless you were to split the game up, make it shorter, yada, yada, yada. But that idea, though, would be fun, especially if you really liked a lot of the characters in that world. Yep, dumpster diving ones. I remember those. I mean, a copy of Last of Us, but at least they have zombies. That's true. That's true. A Plague Tale is French, too. Oh, it is, yeah. I was talking about people saying to continue Clem's story. I agree it wouldn't affect the reboot. Your idea sounds dope. Yeah, for anyone saying to continue Clem's story, I agree with that. They do have it. I will warn you, though, it is not visually appealing like the game. And it's story-wise, it's totally different. I mean, Clem doesn't even sound or act like Clem, so yes, they continued her story, but I wouldn't even recommend they read it because it's just that bad. Z Nation was just dumb fun. A lot of people say that. They had fun with it, though. The concept of the game sounds cool, but I agree. Visuals are hilariously bad. Definitely. The game looks trash. I don't get why people will buy it. Probably streamers to catch on more. Yeah, that's that Walking Dead Betrayal game. I'll pull it up real quick. We're going to end here in a second, in a few minutes, but I'm going to pull up the Betrayal game and show you in case you don't know what it is. Maybe they have gameplay. Walking Dead Betrayal. I need a little minute. Is there a gameplay? Hold on. They got a first look. Someone streamed it a few days ago. Let me see what this first look is.
What is happening?
Teams of 2.
Oh, here it is.
Well, I mean, two teams, not teams of 2, teams of 4.
All right, I don't know who's talking, but we're gonna move it over.
This is the upcoming Walking Dead game that was just announced a couple.
So this is the Walking Dead Betrayal. I'm gonna make my face a little smaller. This shit, this garbage. This is not a mobile game. It's a real video game. What the fuck? Look at that trash. Is it a mobile game? I thought it was a real game, like PS5, PS4. What the hell? Seriously, who in chat sees this and goes, oh my God, yes, I got to get my hands on that Walking Dead game? I mean, I know for me, it's not even close to being up my alley. I'm not even a little bit. Someone else has the game over here. Oh, wait. Someone's dying. Oh, that's terrible. That is terrible. You see this shit? Wait, hold on. That's what being attacked by the infected looks like. That is terrible, man. And I get it. There's gonna be people that will have fun and play that shit, play with friends, and it's kind of like a classic video game where, you know, you sit down and you play Space Invaders or Pac-Man. You're not looking for these amazing visuals, but you're looking for these really video gamey, you know, mechanics. It's just wow. It just looks terrible, though, and definitely not my taste or anything like that. A Negan game continuing comic story. That could work, too. You could do something like that. Amazing, but I don't think they're gonna. I got Last of Us Remake. I don't need Last of Us game, or Walking Dead game at this point, unless it's the same level as Naughty Dog, which I doubt I'll ever do. Zombie Fat is kind of over. Yeah, I hear that. Stain. I'll disagree. We hear this all the time. Everyone who's not a hardcore zombie fan always says, like, there's too many zombie movies. There's too many zombie games. Sure, for you, you know. Same thing with superhero movies. We can cry all we want about them, but they're still going to come out for another 50 years. I mean, unless there's something that destroys mankind to where we can't make movies. Here, superhero movies are going to come out for the next. They might slow down. You might not get 10 a year. You might get one every other year. You're going to get them always. And there's never going to be too much. Why? Because they're not. Oh, I'm sorry. Some of them are repetitive, but they're not all identical. Like someone right now.
The Walking Dead Destinies is the game, not the one you are watching.
Destinies. The Walking Dead Destinies. Oh, I'm talking about the one Skybound is doing, but you're right, there is another one that AMC is doing, which is also dog shit. But I thought the chat, because we were talking about Skybound, I thought chat was talking about the that one. I'm trying to look for the gameplay. Yeah, I don't see anything gameplay wise. Oh, like I was saying though is, yeah, we're always gonna have it. Like someone right now can write a superhero story that is so insanely unique and unlike anything we've had in the superhero genre, and that's because there's a ton of different ideas once you start manipulating them, or reworking them and using fresh ideas, not the same old shit. Like, for example, cut out the world ending anything. Take that. You're not allowed to do that. I guarantee you write a superhero story and you take out the ending the world aspect, your story is going to be a lot less repetitive and recycled, regurgitated shit, because then you're not going to pick the big bad and the big bad's army and the MacGuffin. You're not going to go down there. Same thing with zombie stuff. There's so many different ideas that you can still utilize that has the flavor that zombie fans love, but also this new recipe that will just to add it to the list of those greats, and knock the okay ones down a couple pegs. Because when we get to like great zombie movies, there's not a ton. Even the ones that I'm nostalgic over, they're not great. Like I know it's a sin to say, but Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, I'm sorry, they're not great zombie movies. Sorry. When it comes to the history of the zombie genre, they are champion because of what they helped to pave the way for, what they helped to create. Essentially, they are in large part what created the zombie genre as far as movie fans that we know today. But if you just simply say, here's a zombie movie, it's just not great. Night of the Living Dead, it didn't have budget. It didn't have the technology and the budget. It's a rough movie. I love it, but I love it for reasons outside of strictly being a good zombie movie. So my point though is when you take just good zombie movies, there's not many. Just good zombie video games, even less, Days Gone, Last of Us. That's it. Unless I missed something odd, don't tell me like, State of Decay or some other shit. Those are not great. Is there any other I might be missing? But that's all I have to say about that. But I absolutely disagree. Every year we get someone saying the zombie trend is dying. It's been dying for 30 years. It's been dying since the day it created. No, it's not dying. We go through this all the time. Good zombie stuff comes out, the fan base explodes. Bad zombie stuff comes out, mid zombie stuff comes out, the fan base cools off. They're still there. They're just nothing to be excited over. Then someone comes out with good zombie stuff, and then boom, the fan base goes back up and people are like, oh my God, it's trending again. No, it's not. We're just getting good shit again. And that's my argument. Only because I get triggered every time it is brought up that it's a trend. Everything is a trend if there's something good versus something mid or bad, because it's going up and down. Now here's the Destinies. I looked for gameplay. I couldn't find any. This is the what if. I don't give a shit about what ifs. I don't care about, what if Shane took over and not Rick. I don't care in the slightest. And the graphics look, the graphics look bland. Here's the... Now, this is just the trailer promo. So, it's going to be even worse when you play the actual game. Is there gameplay footage in here? That actually is gameplay footage. Look, see how they're doing the shaky cam? Am I in the screen? Look, this is gameplay footage. Or this is close to what it's going to be. Look at that shit. Look at that. That's mobile game stuff. This guy don't even have facial features half the time. That is Shane, though. I think it's Shane, supposed to be Rick, if he was the leader. This actually looks cool, but imagine this, but with Days Gone graphics or some shit like that. How exciting would that be? You know, Rick, the look. Now, I don't care about this what if concept. I would never want that in an actual game because there's no weight to it at all. It doesn't mean anything. You know, it might be fun for 10 minutes, but it doesn't, once it's done, it doesn't have weight to it. Here's Rick being eaten up. But this is like the gameplay you would, like, this is very bottom of the barrel, basic gameplay graphics. I guess it's better than Betrayal, to be honest. It is really clunky, though. Anyhow, yeah, I have zero interest in this. I'm saying for games, the zombie fad is over. I also disagree. PlayStation refuse. Well, I think it depends on the context of that. Like, if you're talking about like the makers, the creators, the developers, they're purposefully not making new stuff. They don't want to chase like zombie money. I haven't heard anything on it. Maybe they are. I'm not really looking for that. In that context, maybe they are, because you're saying like they don't want to greenlight a sequel and blah, blah, blah. Maybe that's true. But when it comes to the fan base, they're always ready for it. You know, if someone makes good games, good movies, the zombie fans will eat it up like zombies. And now you did mention the Days Gone sequel. I keep saying this with the Days Gone sequel. They didn't greenlight it. All right, we have the white lead character. We know that's a problem, but there's alternatives. The other characters can be not white, the entire cast, so they can get around that. But the official reason why they denied the sequel wasn't because they didn't want to make a zombie game. It was because the pitch wasn't good. You know, that's the official account. Now we can all say like, nah, they just didn't want to make zombie games, or nah, they just didn't want a white guy. But we don't know that for a fact. Like, you could speculate that, but you don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Neither one of us know. But what we do know from the interview that was out there, and this isn't like them coming out and saying, oh, we didn't want to make. This was one of the people who pitched the idea, and he got rejected. And he said, you know, like, listen, we tried. Sony said that they did not like our idea for the sequel, the story itself, the pitch itself. Now, it's been a couple years. I could have some of the details a little blurry. So if anyone has finer details, you can let me know. But that's how I see it. Now, again, it could be anything. But I just don't know for certain. Maybe I just got mixed up. What'd you get mixed up? Oh, I could have got it mixed up. I forgot there was 2 games coming out. There's too much terrible content. I agree. I was talking about Destinies. I like the concept. Oh no, Phantom Knight. Dark Emerald was talking about Destinies. I like the concept of alternative scenarios, but the graphics are so bad it looks unplayable. Yeah, the graphics are trash. I know a lot of fans like the what if concept. I absolutely despise it, simply because there's no weight to it. Now, maybe I'm taking it like I'm just not fun enough when it comes to, you know, like just screw it, have fun with it. But if we had like multiple like awesome Walking Dead games, I would say like, yeah, sure, fuck it, throw us a fun little what if. But we don't have any good Walking Dead games, you know, none. And I had fun with the Walking Dead VR game. Yeah, I had fun with it in the VR itself, but it's not a good Walking Dead game, especially as a whole. What else was there? Telltale doesn't count. It's just like a option menu. If there was tons of them, I would say let's have fun. But because there's not, it's like that's the last thing I want, because there's no weight to it. There's no value there. I mean, one of the zombie games we have been begging for is Left 4 Dead games. I know fans go nuts for it. I know they did a sequel that didn't do so good. I thought Dead Island 2, Had a really good gore
Dropping
system.
in to show some love. Keep up the streams, Ronnie.
Hey, thank you very much, Jeff, 1990. I appreciate that. I do want to touch on this. Dead Island 2 was a flop as well. I'm waiting to get it on sale just for the gore. Now, yes, if you're trying to connect Dead Island 2 as a flop for the context of the trend is dying, Dead Island 2 wasn't good. I beat it. I played it. I enjoyed playing it. The story, though, there's nothing there. It's literally zombie gore. That's it. It's in landscape, environmental, and gore. That's it. Walking around in cool, the graphics are cool in the cool areas, ripping up zombies. But the actual like gameplay of story-wise, it's trash. That's why it flopped. If it had a solid plot, solid characters, and you got rid of the stupid fucking first person point of view and actually did the third person and it was yada yada, it would have done way better. And that's because it made the money it deserved. If it flopped, it's because it wasn't good. For movies, we're gonna keep getting zombies every year. Probably. Most of them suck though. And that's another problem I always talk about. We have 100 zombie things coming out every year, but only one every 5 years is any good. So it's how much versus how much good is the real, breakdown. George Romero is phasing out while $1 menu George Romero is phasing in. I call Night of the Living Dead the Bible to zombie movies. Resident Evil is crazy big too. Resident Evil is crazy big too. I want another 28 days later, even if, as far as like the zombie, yeah, it definitely is. I want them to focus more on zombies and less on the mutant lab shit though. Maybe one day. I want another 28 days later, even though actual zombies was still amazing. Yeah, I count the zombie-like as zombies. I'm not, as far as like enjoying it for a zombie fan, I count it together because it's close. It's like a cousin. I remember there was also an article mentioned that Sony doesn't need Days Gone to go since they have Last of Us. I don't remember ever reading that article. If they said that, I mean, that's just really fucking stupid. Imagine saying like, because their whole thing is they make stuff to sell to make money. Imagine saying like, we could sell 2 bricks of cocaine, but this other brick sells a little more than the other one, so we're just gonna sell the 1 brick. It's like that makes zero sense whatsoever. If they make a new IP and they have no clue if it's gonna get bought or if it's gonna flop, that already Days Gone has that beat. Because it has an established fan base. So if anyone said that word for word in the industry, they are dumb as fuck. Maybe it was a developer that said it and they were kind of just being like, I don't know, but that's a really dumb thing for them to say. Did I play Dying Light? Yes, I did. Yeah, not a big fan of it. Dead Island 2 ended up being okay considering development hell I went through. Could have been so much worse. Oh, definitely could have been worse. I mean, I enjoyed it enough to finish it. I really like the landscapes. I really like the gore system. But to break it down to story, because it's more than just story. But yeah, this like Dead Island 2 is, I don't know how to put it in a way where I'm being clear about it, but it's an arcade-like game. You know what I mean? With the gameplay style, with the pop-ups, with stuff. It just has that arcade goofiness to it. Not the grounded, more mature. And I think if it was the grounded, more mature, I think it could have possibly been like, fuck, but I don't know. Right? Yeah, I think the problem though is good stuff sells good, so it has to be good stuff. So if they're just looking at stuff that's not good and they're like, and listen, Hollywood, and I include the gaming industry, they are notorious for being pussies. Like, what came out, like Nightmare on Elm Street, the remake came out, and now I'm going to get it wrong. I already know, because I forget what came out first, but this is how stupid Hollywood is sometimes. They remade like Nightmare on Elm Street, and it flopped. So then they turned around and they were like, yeah, you know what? Nightmare on Elm Street flopped so bad, we're not going to make another Friday the 13th movie, because they were planning on making another one. And I forget the real franchises, but that actually happened, where a franchise owner was like, this horror movie did poorly. And it was a bad horror movie. It did poorly. It didn't do poorly because it was a shitty horror movie. It didn't do poorly because it was so shitty you couldn't hide it behind good trailers and promo. Nope. I mean, it did poorly because people just don't want it anymore. Suddenly, out of nowhere, people are like so sick of it. So what they did is they didn't make that, totally different franchise. They didn't make those. Hollywood does that. It's almost in their DNA. Like, people are sick of this, and this. We're just not making it. It's absurd. Because if you make it, like, even if Halloween flopped, Freddy Krueger flopped, Chucky flopped, all in 1 year, that doesn't mean Jason Voorhees will flop. As long as it's good, it'll do good. Guaranteed. 9 times out of 10 anyhow. We're getting really deep into this, though. So I'm going to get out of here. Let me read 2 or 3 more comments before I roll. Any way of finding time to stream Resident Evil 4 DLC? We started it. We already started that. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. No, we started the Village DLC. When is the Resident Evil 4 DLC coming out? Again, because it's not going to be like back to back to back, but I think there might be a chance to do a little bit. Plus, I don't think the DLC is going to be a lot of hours anyway. Just read an article that said they wanted to do co-op for Days Gone 2. In my opinion, that's another dumb suggestion. If they do co-op for Days Gone 2, they're just taking an IP and mashing it with something they think they can get extra money out of. It doesn't belong in co-op, but it's their IP to ruin. Yeah, I heard the impression of Rick. That is awful. A show that has zombies in Lord of the Rings setting would be cool. Yeah, I've talked about that too, like having zombie stuff, but play around with different genres. It could be really fun if done right, See you later, Adabee. Thank you for stopping by. Just got done with... and then you could do like different visuals. I know Evil Dead tried doing it to some degree, but you can actually have like... imagine the zombie visual of the Wild West, That's not a zombie visual you get all the time. Imagine a zombie visual of, medieval times. And then, like, those are cool. How can you incorporate that into, a story? I know years and years ago, I forget why. It might have been just a reason to have different looking zombies, but I wanted to have a way of doing different zombies. So the idea was to have a zombie infected strain. I won't get into it because it grew in water and it was it doesn't matter. It was all fucked up, but have it be an anthology, maybe like 4 or 5 episodes, and they'll take place over the span of time, and it would follow a strain or a bug or a whatever can turn people into zombies, but it has to hibernate. So it would take place in I don't know, pick some. All I remember is there was a time during the Civil War, there was which blended, I think, with cowboys. There was like medieval, but there was also Vikings. So, and I'm sure back then I was just like all over the fucking place with timeline. I probably put like not even thinking, put the medieval shit in America. You know what I'm saying? Like, but anyhow, yeah, I would be embarrassed to even see if I had any of those notes, because I had them saved on like a hard drive. But the whole idea is, it's just little ideas the whole idea is you have an anthology and you would do these neat little stories that would carry over. It's whatever bug. In this one, it was like some bug thing that hibernates. It's like a part of a blood. It's weird. It was like a bug that grew from a plant, and I tied it to the Fountain of Youth. It was from an old story, but something like that would be. Now that's like, again, something I started when I was a kid. Not started, but like I had this little neat little idea, and then when I got older, I was like, man, it'd be so cool to have Viking zombies, but you have this little story that takes place here, and then maybe they find the fossils or bones, and you take place, or they find a cave, and they have like the old Viking area where the story ended, and then someone gets reinfected in the cave, and it's the Wild West, and they go to the town and they get infected, and then the town's all dead, and then the Civil War kicks off, or I don't know how time-wise you would have to maybe put the Civil War right in front, but the Wild West and the Civil War is kind of like right in the middle, but after anyhow, you would, and then it gets into that, and then you can. But that's just simply if you wanted a zombie fan. If you're a zombie fan and you just want like cool zombie shit. Like, I know Evil Dead has kind of the goofy comedy stuff, but it would still be neat if you just have zombie, like a zombie brand where it's like, we're doing cool, fun zombie shit. And then you would do it, based off that. Here's an anthology, and we got these cool zombie Vikings. We got zombie, cowboys. We got zombie during Civil War. We got zombies during, the Nazi zombies. Obviously, that's going to be one. You got Nazis during the medieval times, and you get these little stories together, and then you can put them out as little shorts, put them together, and but in like some sort of umbrella, without it having to be a continuing, main character. I don't know. I don't fucking know. It doesn't matter. It'd still be fun though. As a zombie fan, I would love to watch some shit like that. Wednesday. Oh, it comes out that soon? Ouch. Yeah. I don't know about this week, but maybe this weekend. Just got done with the episode. I had a good time with it. Good environment, decent pre-apocalypse stuff, some action, and them having to cut baby out of Zom Mom was dark. Well, I'm glad you liked it. Good vibes only. Yeah, zombie stuff from different periods would be cool. But done right, though. I want it grounded. Like, I like and I dislike Evil Dead. Like, I like Evil Dead, especially the first one, and the remake even. Evil Dead Rise I like as well. A little bland, but I liked it. But what trips me up is I have fun with Evil Dead 2. And I have some fun with Army of Darkness for sure. But it lost that groundedness to it. Like, even though it was off the wall, it was still grounded in a way where it felt like there was a real substance there. Like, like shit mattered, like if one of the main characters died, like that was it. But Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness, it kind of felt like the comedy took over. So I would love to have some sort of like, as a fan, some sort of like umbrella that released like a lot of zombie content, not all at once, but consistently, every year, every other year, something like that, in different mediums as well, But I just don't want it to get too wild with the ideas and become that like goofy, Evil Dead. I want that for Predators. When are they going to get a Predator fight samurai? I would love that for Predators as well. My thing for Predators, though, as a fan, is they got to start winning. We have to see why they are dangerous. I mean, it's stupid that they just keep dying in the worst ways. Like Prey, I had fun watching that movie, but how the Predator dies is so idiotic, so stupid. Her eating the plant and disappearing, she's supposed to have an outline. She totally disappears. Give me a fucking break. And then the Predator cuts off his own arm, and then he shoots himself in the fucking head. He fucking self-terminates. That's how the Predator goes out. What? So stupid, Watched since day one almost, but I can't follow myself to watch. More videos in a row over time. You've gone way too negative, buddy. Well, I'm sorry, Frederick. I'm just burned out. I don't like the current Walking Dead. I don't know if I'm supposed to fake it though, but I'm not gonna fake it. I'm not a fan of it. It would be better if you had said like, oh, hey, Ronnie, well, I loved it, even though they stole the idea from The Last of Us. I love it because of this, or, it was refreshing seeing this character interact in this way. Instead of people just saying like, oh man, just love the show. Like, what are the reasons to love it? I've talked to a handful of fans that want to defend the show, but when it comes time for me to say like, all right, give us some solid ground for what you're getting from the show, that's when they go dark. They get, they shut down, they yada, yada, yada. And I just have to say like, when and if that happens, it probably just means like, I don't know. I might have pickier taste, but I'm right. It's mid as fuck, That's it. Random, but I know most think Mel Williams, but I know we don't have enough zombie movie shows. Yeah, the thing though is I want good zombie stuff, so we'll have to wait and see. Last dumbest pred ever. Yeah, last comment from Hunter Potter says, don't fake it. I would stop watching because I knew you were gonna rip it apart tonight. We're gonna. I'm not gonna fake it. I was just saying. It's gonna cause fallacies. Like being in a relationship, you don't know the leaves. These people invest years into the show. They don't know how to end it. Well, that's another thing too. Is like having honest conversations, and people will tell me like I've spent so long watching the show. I have to watch it to finish it, and since I have to watch it, I enjoy whatever I can out of it because I have to sit there and watch it. I have to finish it. So in those aspects, like, and I've heard that from a number of people that are like very self-aware, like, I'm not going to defend the show. I can enjoy it, but I tell you what, when I walk away, I forget almost everything about it until the next week when it comes. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Daryl shot himself in the dick. And, oh yeah, that's right. He killed a jackass and he is a jackass. And, yeah, that's right. The pregnant chick. So like, and I hear that kind of that vibe frequently. So, and I'm the same way, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would love to just be like, fuck it. But I've been watching The Walking Dead for 10 years, man. You know what I mean? Since day one, like not it got popular and I watched it because no, I was one of the first with however, a million of you out there that I forget how many watched it first. I jumped on episode 2. My friend came across the street, was like, yo, zombie show. It's on right now. They're doing the old episode from the week before. I watched 1 and 2 back to back, however that played out. But I remember being like running outside. That was fucking amazing. And I ran back inside to get ready for the second episode. This is when it was on TV and I couldn't just, pause it. So I've been there like watching live just because my friend knew I love zombie shit from the second episode of season 1. So to just be like, yeah, I'm done totally. I can do that for Fear. But for the main show, I just got to see how it plays out. Even if I skip it and binge it later, I got to just check it out, So it's one of those. Not saying he wrong, but didn't Daryl already film this before Last of Us show came out? Unless I'm forgetting the game didn't say Ellie was born from Bitten Mom. I don't know. We already covered this. I don't remember the timelines. I'm sure someone can possibly. I'm way too tired to go back and. Someone can pin accurate timelines down, but I don't give a damn about the timeline. I don't believe for a second that was a coincidence. There's no way. I don't believe for a second that was coincidental. But again, keep in mind, when we see things on screen, it doesn't mean the word of mouth isn't in Hollywood. So people that are friends working on the set and yada, 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 it is very much probably likely that people on different sets talking with friends from different sets, they know and hear things about what was filmed and what was written and blah, 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 before we as the audience see it. So, my personal belief is no matter, what comes out, I don't believe it's just a coincidence that they just accidentally, especially after everything we saw, Daryl on his back getting shot just like Joel, the escort mission out of nowhere with the pregnant woman that was bitten and turned. Now, here's the thing is like, there is a chance that could have just been a freak coincidence because of the fact that the immunity and the being the one, it's so predictable with the fans and writers and creative team, because that's, imagine like, well, who's immune? Someone's born and they're getting bitten. It's up there if someone did like a top 10, top 3 of why someone's immune. It's probably going to be in most people's top 3. So there is a chance that it could have been a freak, but it's just with Hollywood and all them, I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't buy it. I don't trust it, But anyone's more have at it. Go check the dates and the times and all that. When did is it easy to see when Daryl Dixon season 1 filmed? When did season 1 film? Where was Daryl Dixon filmed? Paris Ranch, Principal Tommy. October 24th, 2022 is when they started filming. Began October 24th, 2022. When did Last of Us air? Or it would be filmed. When did they film it? But when did it air? Do we have a quick Wikipedia here? March 12th, 2023 is Look for the Light. I think that's the last episode of where she was bitten. Last of Us. I'm finding out when they were filmed though. The Last of Us was filmed in Alberta, Canada between July 2021 and June 2022 across a whopping 180. So it was June. It was filmed before Daryl Dixon was filmed. I'm going to confuse myself with all this. But what do I want to look at? Fuck, I just had it in my brain to look at something specific. I lost it. It was in my brain. Those are the dates you can work with if you want to do any science. I think I made the right choice, but I probably binged the Rick episodes. I watched reviews. I started watching episode 3 because I heard there was sex in episode 2. And as a kid, that was as close to porn as I could get. I hear you. I hear you on that. I watched 1 or 2 movies where I was like, I'm not supposed to watch this. I'll check it out. And it was always like, some silhouettes and like quick panning. And it's like, oh shit, but you didn't have the internet back then. So, not big enough to ruin for me. Did you try to see a point? I don't want to convince other people to not like it. It doesn't affect me, either way when you like and dislike it. So, except for when it comes to, praising the creative team to their face, like leave that shit alone because we don't need more of this, outside of that, like I don't want to convince people, and that's where it gets a little tricky, but I don't want to lie and say like, oh, I'm loving this. I don't, it's just, take out the location. What do you have? Take the location of where they filmed out of the equation. What do we have? I enjoyed the episode, but I just found myself not caring about the side quest. Going back to what Negan said, where's Rick? That's funny. It definitely is. Damn, I wish I remembered. There was something else where I was like, definitely look up that thing about filming. I don't remember now. It's getting late. If anyone else wants to do some other investigative work, have at it. I know where I stand. I think there's too much that's similar, and I there's just no way I believe it's an accident. I don't know how it came together, but it is the least of it. That itself doesn't ruin it for me. I think everything in totality is what kind of takes me out of it, and I just don't have a lot of faith in the episodes that are coming up, but we'll see. I'm still down to check out. If you guys want to check them out and you don't mind that I'm hate fucking the show, then be here next Sunday and we'll check out more. Don't forget, when Fear the Walking Dead comes out, that's going to be a riot. We're watching the 1 episode together where Troy comes back, and then we're done. But my eyes are burning. I got to pass out for work. Be safe. I really appreciate the support, guys. And I'll see you here next Sunday for some more Daryl Dicks.